David had always been the type of man who believed that love was about constant presence. He thought that the more he showed a woman he cared, the more she would appreciate him. Every morning, he sent good morning texts. Throughout the day, he checked in, making sure she was okay. He made himself available whenever she needed him, always ready to listen, always eager to plan the next date. In his mind, this was the formula for making a woman feel secure, valued, and loved. Yet, despite his best efforts, his relationships always seemed to follow the same frustrating pattern. Things would start off passionately, with the woman showing excitement and enthusiasm. But as weeks passed, that excitement faded. The texts became less frequent. The energy in her voice when they talked started to wane. Eventually, she would start pulling away, needing more space, making more excuses. Before he knew it, she was gone. Confused and disheartened, David couldn't understand what was going wrong. He had done everything right. He had given his all. Why was it that no matter how much love and attention he poured into a relationship, women always seemed to lose interest? One evening, feeling particularly frustrated, he confided in his friend Jason. Jason was different. He had a natural charisma that drew people in, especially women. Unlike David, he never seemed overly eager, yet women were always interested in him. David, swirling the drink in his glass, sighed. "I don't get it, man. I do everything a woman would want. I make time for her. I show her I care. I never make her wonder how I feel. And yet, they still pull away. What am I doing wrong?" Jason smirked, leaning back against his chair. "You don't give them a chance to miss you." David frowned. "Miss me? Why would I want them to miss me?" Jason chuckled. "Because emotions don't work the way you think they do. Women don't fall for you because you're always there. They fall for you when they feel something in your absence. If you're always available, always checking in, always giving, there's no space for them to long for you, to wonder about you. And longing is what deepens emotions." David took in his words, but remained skeptical. "So what? I just ignore them?" Jason shook his head. "It's not about playing games. It's about understanding attraction. When you're always present, they take you for granted. Not because they're bad people, but because humans value what isn't always easy to get. When you step back a little, you give them space to feel what life is like without you constantly in it. And that's when they realize how much they actually want you." David left that conversation deep in thought. He had always believed that love was about giving endlessly, but what if Jason was right? What if, in his effort to prove his love, he had been suffocating the very emotions he was trying to nurture? Determined to try a different approach, David stopped initiating every conversation. He didn't ignore Emily, the woman he had been seeing, but he didn't reach out constantly either. If she messaged, he responded warmly, but he let her be the one to start the conversation more often. Instead of always being available, he focused on himself, going to the gym, spending more time with friends, diving into personal projects. At first, it felt unnatural, even wrong. He had always equated love with effort, with showing up. But then, something interesting happened. Emily started texting first. She began asking about his day, sending little messages saying she missed him. She started suggesting dates, instead of waiting for him to plan everything. The dynamic had shifted. David realized something profound. It wasn't about manipulation or mind games. It was about balance. Women, like anyone else, appreciate what they feel they could lose. When he had been constantly available, there was no contrast, no tension, no anticipation. But the moment he created a little space, he gave her room to feel something deeper. He thought back to his past relationships and saw the pattern clearly. His mistake had never been caring too much. It had been never giving his presence enough value. He had been freely available, thinking it would make a woman love him more, when in reality, love is built on a mix of connection and absence. From that day forward, David understood the lesson Jason had tried to teach him. It wasn't about withdrawing love, but about letting the other person experience the weight of it by not always being there. Women miss you more when you allow them the space to do so, And in that space, emotions grow stronger.